you have a hard time believing that God is actually going to do something in your life? This is Vince Miller, and Merry Christmas to all of you out there. Today I'm going to be reading from Luke chapter 1. I'm going to read verses 11 through 22, getting us into the Christmas story. This is the story actually of Zechariah. It reads, "And there appeared to him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense." So he's in the temple. "And Zechariah was troubled when he saw him, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said to him, 'Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John. And you will have great joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great before the Lord, and he must not drink wine or strong drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit even from his mother's womb. And he will turn many of the children of Israel to the Lord their God, and he will go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready for the Lord a people prepared.' And Zechariah said to the angel, 'How shall I know this? For I'm an old man, and my wife is advanced in years.' And the angel answered him, 'I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and I was sent to speak to you and to bring you this good news. And behold, you will be silent and unable to speak until the day that these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their time.' And the people were waiting for Zechariah," that's the priest outside, "and they were wondering at his delay in the temple. And when he came out, he was unable to speak to them. And they realized that he had seen a vision in the temple, and he kept making signs to them and remained mute." So here's the situation in this story. Zechariah was married to a woman named Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth was the older cousin of a woman named Mary, who would soon be, obviously, the mother of Jesus. Zechariah served as a priest, so he's a man of the cloth, serving in the temple. He was one of probably about 60 or so priests who served on a regular rotation on the temple grounds. Now, on this particular day, he was chosen by lot, by chance, to enter the temple to offer incense on the altar of the Lord, a job that a priest could only be selected by lots to do one time in an entire lifetime. So while he's in the temple performing his duties, an angel appears. And this angel tells him that God has heard his prayers and that he and his wife are going to have a child. Then the angel tells him that this child's name is going to be John. Now, the details of this event are pretty amazing. They're remarkable. Now, how Zechariah was selected was special. The appearance of an angel. Prayers are heard by God, he is told. Then there's the promise of a child, even a boy, who's going to be the herald of Jesus. But Zechariah has a hard time believing all this. And I think there are two reasons why. First, because, well, they had tried to have children for decades but couldn't. And second, because by this time they were probably around the age of 80, we think. Or they could have been potentially older, so he's old. So Zechariah says something stupid, really stupid, standing in the temple of God, talking to an angel, chosen by divine lot. He responds with, "How's this possible when we're so old?" And in his verbal response to a spiritual occurrence, something is spoken that should not have been spoken. Unbelief. The disbelief in his heart is made known by his mouth, so the angel strikes him speechless. Now, why does the angel choose muteness as his punishment? Well, maybe to silence the duplicity of Zechariah's heart, who by his mouth asked God for decades for a child. And now when promised one in the house of God, delivered by an angel, he questions God's power and ability to provide it. So the next 9 months of silence are going to change Zechariah forever. In a natural sense, it's actually going to change how he listens and communicates. But even more, it's going to change how he listens and communicates with God. Now, eventually, God did heal Zechariah's muteness. It was healed at the moment that his son was named, at that moment where Zechariah wrote on that tablet the declared name of his newborn child. His name is John. And right then, his muteness is lifted. From a muted priest was born a son who proclaimed the way for the great high priest, John the prophet, who prepared the way for the Lord. Doesn't God do crazy things? Here's your takeaway. Don't get so wrapped up in your routine that you miss the moment God makes your lifelong requests a reality. Be alert today. Stay amazed. I love you guys. And Merry Christmas.